Alright guys, Tactical here, and today we're going to talk about the Team Reciprocity news. I've talked about these guys a few times before in previous Rostermania Rumours videos. We did think the potential rich guy could have been part of this organisation, but as it turns out, it doesn't seem that's the case. They've picked up the ex-UNILAD core of Zed, Seany and Wuskin, of course, joining alongside Tommey and Denz from the former Mindfreak team. It's a really exciting team to see play. Tommey back on our top team for the start of another game. That UNILAD core was phenomenal in the latter half of the World War II season, as we'll talk about. And of course, Denz, finally, I guess you could say, free from the shackles of the Mindfreak team. Of course, Shock's a fantastic duo to him. But definitely the rest of that Mindfreak team subpar for what Denz and Shox are capable of. Shox won't be coming to another region until at least next year due to his university situation. But Denz has had the opportunity this year to join this team. I want to be really excited about these guys, but the role situation is definitely questionable. So I'll talk about that as the video goes on. Like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, and let us begin. So, Shane is also their coach, which is very interesting. He's apparently been the coach for this team for a few months, since about Anaheim behind closed doors. Finally, he's been given the opportunity to join Reciprocity. He thanks Chad Larson, that's the CEO or owner of Reciprocity, for the professionality. And that's what I love about this organisation, actually. I wasn't so sure about the branding and all those sort of things, but the fact that they have a coach on the team, they also have a Call of Duty manager, or maybe just a more general esports manager in Swizz, formerly, of course, of the Splice team. And now they have this core of players. So I'm impressed with the professionality of this organisation. They're already in the Halo scene, and I hope to see them have some success in Call of Duty as well, because I like the way they do things as far as we can see so far. Now, one really interesting dynamic of this is what Seany tweets about here. Forgot to add, we will be based in Vegas for the duration of the Black Ops 4 season. So, of course, 4 players from the UK in Seany, Wuskin, Tommey, and of course Zed. Then you've got Denz from Australia. You would have assumed they'd have been based in the UK, right? But no, they're going to be based in the States, where of course Reciprocity is originally from. But this is really interesting for European Call of Duty as a whole. Red Reserve have talked about how they're going to do boot camps pre-tournament in the States, and Splice are almost certainly going to be based in the States, with Jerd more than likely the only European counterpart of that team. So who's even going to be left to practice against in Europe for Red Reserve in the majority of the season? Of course, Mad Cat's team is one that we're yet to talk about, but Red Reserve, of course, consider the European super team. I talked about their roster a few days ago, but if they don't have the practice level that guys like Reciprocity are getting, these guys could legitimately challenge them for the best international team or team outside of the States. So that's a really big thing to consider, the practice quality that this team can potentially get. Now, one thing 100% to consider is the roles on this team. It's definitely an interesting situation. I'll bring up the graphic here. Of course, you've got Shane as coach. Unfortunately, it's not centered, but there's not much I can do about that. Now, the first thing to talk about is the player they've lost. Alexx, of course, is off this team now. And it's difficult to see where his replacement is in terms of roles. Him and Zed were crucial as the SMG duo, pushing out all the lanes towards the end of the World War II season, giving a lot of space for Seany to pick up the AR when he needed to. Because that's one of my key issues with this team, is ensuring that Seany gets his hands on an assault rifle more often than not. Because this team is clearly AR heavy in terms of what roles have been played in the past. Shane is the coach, but it would almost make more sense for him to be a player to go alongside Zed in terms of playstyle. Of course, we're not sure how Black Ops 4 will turn out in terms of the role situation. But look, Wuskin is a main assault rifle. Denz has been a flex, but usually he's used an AR this year on Mindfreak and has tended to do that in the past. Of course he can use an SMG. He's a fabulously talented player. Him and Shox are definitely the best to come out of the Australian region. He's shown fabulous talent with all weapons. If we look at the stats from last year, courtesy of CodCompStats.com, Denz is right up there at a 1.11 in respawn, 1.19 in search as well. So, of course, using an assault rifle a little bit more than Shox was. But the talent is certainly there, even though the placements really haven't been for that team. So I think he's a phenomenal pickup, and it's really intriguing to see how this will shape the roster. But, of course, he's not known for his SMG prowess, but someone is going to have to team up with Zed on the SMG front. In a 5v5 setting, I think it very unlikely that you're going to need more than 2 ARs on a map. In a 4v4 setting, sometimes you can get away with 2, but having 3 out of your 5 players using ARs is surely not going to happen. Every assault rifle on your team needs an SMG player to be able to push out and bait for them, even if the assault rifles are the more powerful weapons. So I think on some maps you'll see 1 AR, 4 SMGs. On some maps you'll see 2 ARs, 3 SMGs. It's tough to speculate, but seeing Call of Duty in the past, that's how I predict it turning out. So I think someone will have to duo up with Zed in the SMG role, and I think that's surely got to be Denz, right? Wuskin has been the main AR in the past. Of course, this is the reunification of Tommey and Wuskin from the old Fnatic team, which is quite interesting. They have teamed and had some success in the past. Wuskin will be the main AR. Tommey, of course, was considered the main AR of the Splice team at the start of the World War II season, putting on the absolute clinic at CWL Dallas, where they come second, of course. He has been quite good with an SMG, but I do think Tommey is slightly better in the assault rifle role, but he can use an SMG. So who really are the SMG partners for Zed? This would be how I would structure the team. I would have Zed, Tommey and Denz as your SMG players. I guess I'd put Denz as more of the support SMG to Zed. Then I'd have Tommey as kind of a flex role a little bit. Maybe depending on the maps, him and Seany can go back and forth with an SMG or an assault rifle. I really would try and put the AR in Seany's hands as much as possible. We look at the stats for last season. Seany has a very underwhelming stat line. You have to scroll all the way down to Seany at a 0.89 down it over the 193 maps. And, he's hardly better in Search and Destroy as well, I believe, with a 0.96 here. But I don't think that tells the whole story of this player. If you watch this guy play London Docks Hardpoint and pull out the bar, he was consistently dropping 30 plus, 1.2, 1.3 KD with it. In Infinite Warfare, he used the assault rifle as well. So Tommey, I think, can do both roles. He's probably slightly better with an assault rifle, but he can definitely use an SMG. Denz is probably in the same category, but he's so talented, I think he could probably do it all. Seany is definitely a player that he is significantly better with the assault rifle in his hands than the SMG. At least for what I noticed, I don't really think he has the pacing to be a support SMG. And I think that's in part why the old UNILAD struggled with Moose on the team, because they really struggled with the pacing on their team and having someone to lead the line. So the way I would organise the team is have Zed and Denz as your main SMGs, Tommey is kind of a flex but majority SMG, and Seany and Wuskin as your assault rifles. Hopefully, at least for this team's sake, it will be AR heavy. The ARs are pretty dominant. You'll use at least 2 on respawn maps, maybe in Search and Destroy 3 might be viable in certain situations just to lock down lanes on the defense. But if Seany can have an AR in his hands as much as possible, this team could be super scary. These guys seem to have great chemistry. Zed, Seany and Wuskin, of course, fantastic success towards the end of the year. Yet to see how Denz will really fit in, but I guess Tommey will be kind of the in-game leader of the squad. And it'd be really nice to see these guys have success. Of course, Shane as well, a veteran player being their coach. It's a really likeable team. But I'm not super convinced until we see how the meta will play out for Black Ops 4 that these guys really will be top tier. But as I say, being based in Vegas, the level of practice quality these guys can get might be the one to tip them over the line. So, Alexx leaves the team. What next for him? He's very much rumoured to go to the Mad Cat team, which is Mad Cat, Alexx, Josh and Dave. The 5th is as yet unknown. My personal feeling is it'll be PT because he hasn't been announced elsewhere and he kind of fits in as the SMG player to partner up with Alexx. That's what I'm predicting. Who knows what organisation they'll go to though. Of course, UNILAD have seemingly left Call of Duty for the time being. Been no official announcement as far as I'm aware. Maybe there will be by the time this goes live. But Reciprocity taken away that UNILAD core. Also Curtis Stocks, who I believe was the UNILAD Call of Duty manager, he has taken everything UNILAD related out of his bio as well. And there was rumours today from the CoD burner that he's actually now working for the rich guy, whoever that could be. So I don't know whether UNILAD will stay in Call of Duty. Maybe Mad Cat's team with Alexx and potentially PT will go to UNILAD, or has another organisation got their eye on them? So it's very much up in the air. European Rostermania has pretty much come to a foregone conclusion at this point. We're yet to see where the Mad Cat roster will end up. That's pretty much the only thing we have left to ask. So, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and what are your guys' expectations for this team? Can they go all the way at a major championship? UNILAD's results towards the latter half of the year, 4th at Anaheim, 5th, 6th at Stage 2, and didn't really have the best Call of Duty World League Championship. I believe Alexx left the team because he thought the team was getting worse, and they couldn't keep improving with him on the lineup, so he's gone elsewhere. Will he get the rewards of moving elsewhere? And will Mad Cat's team be better than this Team Reciprocity lineup, or will it seem like down the line he's made something of a mistake? On paper, Team Reciprocity should be the better team considering the chemistry in the core and the success these players have had this year, including of course the higher practice quality they'll get in Vegas. but the potential role issues could put paid to that a couple months down the line. So these guys will be starting in pools at Vegas because they've kept that core 3 from the UNILAD team. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far they can go. So thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.